Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tier ranking Wings of Fire territorial advantages. Now, I know you've probably seen some ranking Wings of Fire tribes or other videos similar, but this is different because we aren't ranking the tribe's abilities themselves. We're rating how their natural habitat, how their kingdom provides these tribes an advantage in battle, and whether these advantages are better than other advantages from different tribes. So yeah, I'm really excited because this is my first long form video that isn't scripted. So you'll probably see a few more ums. It's probably going to be a little less edited, but it's going to be fun. We're going to tier rank some Wings of Fire territorial advantages, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we got the MudWings. I'm thinking C here. Their home isn't very strong at giving them any real advantage in battle. Like, they can obviously hide in the marshes, but compared to like the Ice Kingdom or the Rain Kingdom or the Sea Kingdom, where it's almost impossible for any other dragons to, do much in the kingdom against them, MudWings can get totally beaten to the ground on their own kingdom without like it giving them much of an advantage or much of a hope to stop the other tribe. It's pretty much just mud and maybe some trees. So I'm going to have to put that at C. It might even go down to D later, because we got some pretty good territorial advantages. And right as I say that, next up is the SeaWings. So the SeaWings are very interesting. They have a big territorial advantage. We already know it's the ocean. The SeaWings are so much more agile in water than their opponents. They could literally drown them to death. But I think fighting above sea, flying, is where it gets a little tricky, because they aren't the greatest flyers. I mean, you know what? I should stop overthinking this. It's pretty much an easy S, since even if they're losing the battle above sea, and they're like fighting hundreds of feet above the water, and it's hard to get to that water to gain that territorial advantage, they could literally just dive down into the water and just go and sit in a riverbed. And what's a SandWing gonna do? Or another attacking tribe, I don't know, SkyWings in the War of SandWing Succession, their enemies. What are they gonna do? They can't follow them, and they pretty much always have a safe haven if they're fighting on over their home territory in battle. So I gotta give the SeaWings an S. S for SeaWings. And next up, RainWings. I think RainWings, it's a solid A, because other tribes, they kind of have a hard time dealing with the humidity and the heat and the thickness of the RainWing forest. RainWings, I would say they're a pretty solid A, maybe S. I mean, no, they can still get beaten in their home territory, but they're super agile, and they can hide in the forests even without their little camouflage tactic very well. I'm debating very hard between A and S. I think I'm gonna go A for now, but they might move up to S in the future, because it is very hard to beat a RainWing in the rainforest. You're gonna have to drag that RainWing out either above the rainforest or to a different kingdom. So that's tough. They're very good. Maybe not as good as like the SeaWings, but I don't know. A tier for sure, maybe S. NightWings. Ooh, this is where it gets tricky, because the NightWings kind of have 3 historical homes. Like, do we rank them based on the old Night Kingdom? Do we rank them based on the Nightwing volcano, or do we rank them based on the RainWing territory? I think the RainWing territory is out of the question. Like, that puts them at a massive disadvantage. That's not really their territory. I feel like the Nightwing volcano isn't really their territory either, since they were displaced there, and it was hell on earth for them, hell on earth for any dragon. Except for Battle Winter, I guess. Because she can only live in lava. Anyways, I'm going on a rant. We're judging them by the old Night Kingdom, and I would say that all the technology they had gave them a decent advantage, and it was a peninsula, so that's kind of an interesting geographical feature that you don't really see in Wings of Fire that much. Now, this is tough because we really don't get a sense of the terrain and the biome they're in. I guess since there's mountains nearby and desert on the other side, then it might be a plains, because, or maybe like a savanna below those mountains, because those are kind of warm biomes to have next to the desert. It's kind of tricky. I'm a little bit stumped here. I think I'm going to put them at B, because they kind of know the area. It's a big city. It was a big bustling city with advanced technology before they had to flee because of Darkstalker. Yeah, I think B is a good position for the NightWings. Maybe C. We could move them down to C. But I feel like they have enough buildings, and they have, I don't know, they had enough of a kind of urban community that it would be kind of a strong defense. Obviously not as strong as natural defenses like a rainforest or an ocean, but yeah, B is good. Okay, moving on, we have the SandWings. Okay, the SandWings, they might actually be an A. I'm like, okay, they're kind of, the first thing I thought was mid. But the more I realized it, I was like, oh no, I'm dumb for saying mid. That's the desert. IceWings could barely survive weeks in the desert without being absolutely miserable and not doing nearly well enough to win a battle. The desert's a very tough environment to live in, and the SandWings have adapted. I feel like the other tribes kind of haven't. So when they fight on the Sand Kingdom territory, it's very difficult to beat a SandWing in their SandWing territory. I might have to put that at low A. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with A, because yeah, the SandWings fighting in the desert, like the SandWings can fly for hours in the desert. Meanwhile, a SeaWing or an IceWing would be absolutely cooked and probably could not fight after a few days in the desert. SandWing would just beat him to the ground. They do have bright sting cactus on hand though, so it grows in the desert, and if they have the knowledge to, they'd be able to heal any SandWing venom wounds. So that's kind of a minus, but SandWings can, obviously it says in their bio that they can survive for a long time without water or much food, and in the desert, that's perfect. They've just perfectly adapted, and they're so in tune with their environment in the way that no tribe has the tools to really fight a SandWing effectively after a long period of time in the desert. So I'm gonna have to put them at low A. Yeah, I just spent a little too long explaining that, but anyways, we got the IceWings. Yeah, that's an easy S. Even without the Great Ice Cliff, like the Great Ice Cliff prevents anyone from coming in on the land border, which means that a dragon would either have to come from Pantala or fly a whole, who knows how many miles around the cliff in the ocean. So that pretty much excludes only SeaWings, and that's with the Great Ice Cliff. Without the Great Ice Cliff, a SilkWing or a MudWing or a SkyWing or a SeaWing isn't surviving more than 2 or 3 days in the icy cold, especially up north and further north in the Ice Kingdom. Maybe SkyWings, since they live on top of mountains and they've kind of adapted to the colder environment, they might survive a little longer than like the rest of Pyria. But honestly, I honestly really doubt that they'd be above the NightWings, since NightWings don't really have a natural barrier. It's just kind of their technology that carries them to be, or their technology 2,000 years ago before Darkstalker screwed everything over. But we're on the topic of the SkyWings, not the NightWings. So the SkyWings, they have mountains, tough climate to live in if you're a dragon that's not a SkyWing, tough climate to fight in, and yeah, that gives them an advantage, a pretty decent advantage in battle. But not quite as much as like a desert or rainforest, so not A. But yeah, I think high B is perfect for SkyWings because the mountains, they enable the SkyWings to kind of exercise their power of superior flight and endurance on the flight, to just kind of hop from mountain to mountain. And if an enemy is trying to push into SkyWing territory, they aren't really going to get far because SkyWings just hive in caves or on a mountain and just kind of bombard them. So yeah, high B, decent. Okay, yeah, SilkWings, I'm gonna have to go with D. They don't really have a territory, so they lived in the hives for 200 years, and we don't really know much about them before that. So yeah, D is really the only decent option. HiveWings might also be a D, honestly. Outside of their hives, it's literally just land. It's just land outside of the hives. It used to be trees, but the HiveWings cut them all down, obviously. In the hives, I don't think a dragon would be foolish enough to attack in the hives. But, I guess they're not D because of the hives. Above the MudWings, probably not, honestly. If I were a dragon tribe, especially dragon tribe breathing fire, because I would just make a base camp somewhere in Pantala if I were attacking the HiveWings. Then just kind of fly over them and bombard them with dragon flame cactus bombs, and what are they going to do? Their hives would burn right to the ground. So I guess C, because they'd be able to hide a little bit in the hives, and yeah, it's better than what the SilkWings have. The SilkWings basically have no territory. So yeah, low C. LeafWings, this is kind of like another NightWing situation all over again. Do I do the poison jungle? Do I do the poison jungle, or do I just... Yeah, because they really don't have a territory other than the poison jungle. I think the poison jungle is kind of a hell for all dragons. It's like, yeah, that's why I said those are NightWings all over again, because the poison jungle is basically the LeafWings version of the NightWing volcano. Wow, this is really long. This is a really long video. I'm kind of rambling here. Anyway, I think I'm gonna put LeafWings at... do I do the poison jungle, or do I just I don't know. I guess they don't really have a territory. Yeah, I'm just gonna put them in the SilkWing tier, D tier. And Scavengers, I found it very interesting. Excuse me for moving. Might have affected the audio, but I found it very interesting that they put that in there, because I did not think about the Scavengers' territorial advantage. It's probably A tier. It might be S tier. And wait, hear me out. I know they're fighting against dragons, but they have a complex system of caves in which only scavengers can fit through, so that's pretty much a SeaWing-esque kind of hiding spot. You could just dive into the ocean or dive into the caves. SeaWings, scavengers, it's kind of the same thing. And I forget what's the big old city that the one in Dragon Slayer where Undauntable lives in Winter Turning, when the dragons were just doing nothing. The dragonets they got caught off guard. The Jade Winglet almost lost one of their members to scavengers just because they had that amazing defensive territory. So I'm gonna have to put them above the RainWings, maybe not. Above the rain, maybe actually, maybe. But yeah, most of their towns, not just that one town where Daffodil and all those people live underground. Most of the scavenger dens are above ground and are just kind of free for attack. But yeah, the other ones kind of jumped into A tier, but most of them pushed them back. So above SandWings, maybe. A tier, low RainWings, sure. I think mid A tier is right for scavengers. Apparently humans defend their territory very well. So yeah, apparently that's the finished list. I don't know how entertaining this video is going to be, honestly. I kind of just rambled for 17 minutes straight, but I hope you enjoyed anyway. Honestly, I had a lot of fun making this video. I think it was a really cool idea. I was excited for it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed as much as I did. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. More uploads coming soon. I'll be finishing the blind ranking. Not finishing the blind ranking series, continuing it, because apparently the last blind ranking video is doing pretty well. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Another long form probably going to come in about 2 weeks. So stay tuned, and hopefully I'm going on the upload grind. I'm going to try to get 3 shorts in 1 week. I know, it's a lot. 3 YouTube shorts. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's so much content. But yeah. I don't know what to say here. Insert fascinating, amazing, awesome outro here. And see you in the next one. Peace.